Lots of Iowans are cleaning up today. Wednesday's storm now officially classified as a derecho. It damaged and destroyed homes all across the state, including this one in Winterset, where a branch knifed through the roof and stopped just above the kitchen sink. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. The storm smacked nearly every corner of Iowa.
Boy, it sure did. We have Storm Team 8 coverage across central Iowa tonight. Chris Gloninger and Ann Campolongo will explain the severity of the storm, and Amanda Rooker is out with the people who are cleaning up the damage.
But first, new information just into the newsroom. Within the last half hour, Governor Reynolds declared 6 more Iowa counties disaster areas, bringing the total from this storm to 49. Those in our area include Franklin, Humboldt, and Pocahontas. These counties are now eligible for state financial aid, and area homeowners can apply for up to $5,000 in state disaster assistance. New at 6, the National Weather Service has released its findings on several of last night's tornadoes, 13 in all, including one just south of Jefferson. It's been rated as an EF2 with top winds of 120 miles per hour. KCCI's Amanda Rooker is live there tonight with a look at the damage.
Steve, it's hard to even show just how much damage there is. We've been driving all across Greene County, and this is what you see, just piles and piles of debris. Pieces of wood, trees, even farm equipment stuck in there. We're just south of Jefferson, where a tornado destroyed a family's home. They've been out all day trying to clean up the damage. Lindsay and Deborah Larson have lived on this property since 1989. They were in the process of doing an expansion onto the house when the tornado hit. Now everything is gone. They also lost a significant amount of farm equipment. The semis, the trailers, trucks, and other structures were all leveled to the ground. We talked with the daughters of the couple who lost their home. They say they're still coming to terms with the loss.
The dining room windows were broken in here. The French doors are broken. And then he looked outside and he said, the Morton building's gone, and it's gone. And you look all around this property and everything is just flattened and gone.
But when they arrived this morning, lines of cars started pulling up, more than 20 people offering to help. Some were high schoolers, some were neighbors, some were people they had never even met, all carrying sheets of metal, chunks of wood and boards, and loading them up into trucks to help clear out all the debris.
As we were here and starting to pick up, people just kept coming and pulling in, and what can we do to help? And people were bringing food and water, and it's just amazing how people come together for terrible situations like this. People just want to help, and that's very much appreciated.
And that's the message that we have been hearing all day, that message of hope, thankfulness for a community coming together to help, and people just so glad that everyone is safe. Live in Jefferson, Amanda Rooker, KCCI 8 News, Iowa's news leader.
And that storm that moved through Greene County caused a Mid-American Energy wind turbine to come crashing down. Take a look at this. It's just a couple miles east of the town of Dana. Mid-American says another turbine in the area lost a blade. Thankfully, we don't see things like this happen very often. The Mid-American says both turbines are in open fields, and they say nobody was hurt. Also in Greene County, the storms blew a train off the tracks between Jefferson and Grand Junction. 20 cars derailed. You're seeing that video there. We contacted Union Pacific for more information about this, but have not heard back. And that, of course, shows you just how powerful those storms were yesterday.
Yeah, and Chris, the big news today, this was a derecho, but not the same kind of derecho we had 2 years ago.
Right. So their preliminary findings show, in fact, that it was, but it's the fuel, how these storms were fueled, that was a little bit different. So let's talk about that. This is what we call a serial derecho, which again, if you look, it's dynamically driven. So if you saw the clouds moving quickly above your heads and the strong winds, that was driven by those two key ingredients. A progressive derecho is when you have instability, the summertime heat, when those clouds begin to bubble up, the heat, the humidity. So there's a big difference between the two and how the two form. Yesterday's was a serial derecho, and then the August 2021 was a progressive derecho, having very similar outcomes, obviously, with a lot of damage and destruction. It may not have seemed as destructive, but thankfully we did not have leaves on the trees. If we had leaves on the trees, this would have been very, very different. We're going to try try to get through these quickly. 5 tornadoes confirmed, 4 of them EF2 tornadoes, Atlantic. And as we go to the Jefferson tornado, winds up to 120 miles per hour. You just saw that again in Amanda's live shot. The Bagley tornado, wind speeds again of 120 miles per hour. And look at these path lengths, anywhere from 15 to 26, 27 miles. And this one, the longest one at 26.7 miles, and the only one that is yet to be determined when it comes to the intensity and the exact wind speed is the Lakeview tornado, but even that was approaching 20 miles. And when the storms moved out, the winds begin to blow in, and those winds blew in some pretty nasty conditions across the area. My colleague Ann Campolongo has more on that. And Ann, it was tough to breathe and smell last night if you were outside in those winds.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of people reporting that they could smell the smoke in the air. Chris and I stepped outside in the early evening, and we could smell it immediately as we went out there. So this was all caused from grass fires that sparked up yesterday afternoon all the way in Kansas. The winds were blowing so fast, lower down to the ground, but also higher up in the atmosphere, blowing that smoke all the way to us here in Iowa. And we'll take a look at the map there. That's approximately about 315 miles that smoke traveled. And what's even more impressive is not only just us here in Iowa that we were smelling the smoke, but it also made its way into portions of Minnesota, Wisconsin, and I believe even Michigan. So that shows you just how vast that smoke was blowing and how long of an area it affected. So similar to sometimes when we see that wildfire smoke in the summertime, kind of the same situation here. So that was smoke from Kansas that we smelled. Also, as this front kind of moved through portions of Colorado, sparking up a lot of dust here. So this was video of a dust storm, I believe, just over the Flatirons here in Colorado, where they had wind gusts or speeds over 100 miles per hour. So we got the storm when it was dark here, so we couldn't see as much of these kind of visual effects from that front moving, but people in portions of Nebraska, Kansas, Colorado could see all of the effects of that strong cold front coming through. Stacy.
Thank you. Now, some Iowans could be without power until at least Saturday. MidAmerican Energy says 5,500 customers are without power tonight, and it could be until Saturday before they can restore power to everybody in Fort Dodge and southwest Iowa. At its peak, more than 65,000 customers were without power. MidAmerican says all power should be restored by sometime tomorrow in Des Moines and Waterloo.
New at 6, we now know that the tornado that hit the Guthrie County town of Bayard has been rated as an EF2. National Weather Service says it had winds, as we said earlier, of up to 120 miles per hour and was on the ground in Guthrie County for about 26 miles. KCCI's Andrew Mullenbeck shows us the damage this tornado left behind.
We're in what used to be the living room of Lynn and Deb Smith. There's no longer a roof above us here, but the family was in the living room when that storm was approaching, and with just seconds to spare, they made it off into the basement.
Lynn walks through the same door that generations of family members have, but what he sees looks nothing like it ever has. He vividly remembers the last moments before the storm hit.
And I ran around what used to be an island right here and dove down the steps, and then it was over with.
He made it halfway down the basement steps before what he's convinced was a tornado took down the house.
Oh yeah, I knew right away when I was laying on the steps and Deb asked me if it was all right. I said the house is gone. So, yep, I knew I could look back and look up there and see the sky.
The damage seems indiscriminate. Walls are caved in with boards jutting out in one location. A china cabinet appears untouched in another. While possessions are replaceable, the memories can still hurt.
My wife's grandfather built the house, and we got it, and now it's gone.
But with one emotion, there is an opposite in times of loss. In this case, thankfulness for the community which showed up to help.
Some of these guys I don't even know, they're friends of my family that are coming in to help us. So, yep, nice to have people like that around here. Really nice people.
And then the reminder that he, his wife, and his mother all survived the storm, even if the home did not.
We're all healthy, got plenty of good friends, and we'll just rebuild it.
In Bayard, Andrew Mullenbeck, KCCI 8 News, Iowa's news leader.
Neighbors helping neighbors, so important during this time. The National Weather Service also just announced another EF2 tornado. This one went from Greene County into Webster County, passing right by the town of Harcourt. KCCI's Marcus McIntosh got a look at the damage there. Marcus?
Stacy, we found trees destroyed, roofs ripped to shreds, buildings demolished, and fencing torn apart. And you know what? We did not have to look throughout town to find that damage. We found all that destruction on this property just outside of Harcourt on Highway 175. Buildings, trees, roofs took the brunt of the storm. The home on the property sustained little to no damage during the tornado. People have come out to help the family clean up the property and try to put things back together. But it is not just the immediate property. Debris from the storm was blown a half-mile to a mile north across Highway 175. The Webster County Emergency Management Coordinator says the aftermath of the storm is bad, but being prepared kept people living in the county relatively safe.
We had meetings and information sharing the week of the storm, and we had meetings yesterday morning prior to the event. All worked together pretty well, and the event could have been a lot worse.
Dylan Hagan says despite all the damage, no one was injured as a result of the tornado. He calls that a big win. Steve?
Certainly is. Thank you, Marcus. In Des Moines, most people are heaving a huge sigh of relief tonight. There is no widespread major damage to report in the city, but KCCI's Cynthia Fodor found some spots that were still hit pretty hard.
Winds, and we were in the cellar for a while.
John Dominy didn't take any chances and hunkered down in his basement. When he came upstairs, the lights went out.
And then somehow I looked outside and there were all these lights and big trucks, and I realized that tree had split in two and fallen across my power lines.
Dominy says the homeowners across the street just moved out 2 days ago. City forestry crews wasted no time putting up road closure signs and cleaning up the heavy limbs. The city had reports of only 30 trees down.
If there are residents with storm debris in their yards, they'll be able to dispose of that through the normal yard waste procedures. In Des Moines, we run yard waste 52 weeks a year, so they could put it out on their curb, bundled and tagged, ready for pickup on their next regularly scheduled garbage day.
Poles also had trouble standing against 60-mile-per-hour gusts. Mid-American Energy replaced this power pole on the east side after the wind decimated the one on the ground. And on the south side at Wakanda Club, poles even taller split and fell to the ground. They had held up the high fence around the driving range.
We would expect to be dealing with snow in December, and a giant windstorm that happily underwhelmed has moved past us. We'll get back to business as usual.
That was KCCI's Cynthia Fodor reporting. Now, if you bundle your tree debris, the city asks you to keep those branches or those portions of branches no longer than 4 feet and no bigger than 4 inches around. So remember that.